Oh yeah.
Yuko isn't. Adeline is in the chat too.
Good. Oh, right. Cool. So, hey everybody, how you all doing? Thanks for joining us on the final live stream of 2018. Probably the 4th of the year we've done, so I don't know how meaningful that is.
We've done more than 4 streams this year, haven't we?
Probably, but it feels like it's not been enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, life.
I think it's safe to say we should probably do these a little bit more often.
Yeah, no, that would be fun. I've been working too much too. So it would be nice to just like take maybe 1 or 2 more days to myself. And I like with the nature of my job, I can do that. Technically, it would be nice to just like. So yeah.
I wish I could do that myself.
The fun part is getting everyone's work schedules synced up.
Yeah.
And
that's always a bit of a
Kyle to remember that I work Monday through Friday evenings.
Dude, I have to wake up at 2 in the morning. I barely remember my own schedule, not to mention what day of the week it is.
Bitch, I have told you my schedule 15 times in the last 2 months.
Well,
ladies, please stop fighting. You're both beautiful.
Why, thank you, Ashton. But I'm the pretty one, obviously. He's, well, the bearded lady.
There is a shirtless shot in the next part, so I may have to disagree.
Well, out of everyone here too, like Keith, you're the only one with like an actual office 9-to-5 job type of thing. I think everyone else here, we have like really weird jobs, like atypical jobs.
Sure.
Right? Are we allowed to say where you work, Keith, or no?
Let's no. Personal details.
Okay, yeah, sorry, no. Yeah, but sorry.
So where shall we begin today? Now that we've gotten through the formalities.
Why don't we start with a quick overview of the way the channel's grown in the last year, because 2018 has been fantastic for us. For starters, we've gained an additional probably 6,000 new subscribers, maybe closer to 7,000. So, hey, if you're one of those 7,000 and you're here today, thanks for joining us. A lot of that was in part because of the 50 Shades of Grey review. That was a big bump for us. The recent that we launched last week is still climbing. We've gained about 250 subscribers since then.
Wow.
And of course, there was that little rant I did on Twilight, which went way more popular than I thought it would be. That gained us about 5,000 subscribers alone. That was just a quick 10-minute rant of me describing how bad the book was at first. I didn't think that was going to go anywhere, honestly.
Yeah, right.
It was good timing because I didn't know this until recently. Did you know that this year is specifically, I think this month, it's like the 10th anniversary of Twilight? Which is
Fathom Events was doing their own little ad campaign for that, saying, "Don't miss the 10th anniversary screening of the phenomena that swept the world, Twilight. See it in theaters, one night only."
You know what? The last time I heard phenomena that swept the world, the last major one I heard of was the bubonic plague.
I was going to say World War II.
I was going to say Harry Potter. You guys are so negative.
Harry Potter has class, though.
Yeah, but
I was going to say the recent E. coli outbreak.
But Kyle, you had no idea it was like the anniversary?
No, I tend to block things like that out when I'm not actually interested in the subject.
Yeah, well, regardless, you have good instincts because your Twilight reviews, it hit, the exact right time. So that's just like, that's pretty happy. A good happenstance, I mean. So
a clickbaity title definitely helped. New Moon is the worst book I've ever read. And I think we're
way to bait those clicks.
So that has all been awesome. The year has been okay for movies. I actually have the all the movies released in 2018 up from IMDb here on my laptop. Figure I might be able to go through some of those. I have not seen as many movies as I want to do this year, but
No spoilers, please, because I still haven't seen. If you're going to talk about Infinity War, I still have not seen that. It's on my list.
okay. If you
What?
still haven't
No
seen Infinity War,
spoilers?
you are not allowed to give me
Aw,
crap
now
for
I
not
don't
finishing
feel so
Stranger
good.
Things.
What?
We
As you
both said. I said no spoilers. Now I don't feel so good.
And I was going to say, Diane, if you haven't seen Infinity War, you don't get to you don't get to give me crap for not finishing Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Have
but
you at least finished Full Metal Alchemist?
oh, you know what? Yeah, I picked up on that last night. I watched at least I'm almost to the end of season 3, so I'm getting there. But yeah, I know. It's on my list, Kyle. It's part of the podcast I'm going to start next year. So guys, just wait. But Stranger Things is accessible. It's right there for you, Kyle.
Oh, by the way, did you hear that the sheriff from Stranger Things is now Hellboy in a very silly trailer?
Oh, I've not seen the trailer. I knew he was Hellboy though, or like he got tapped to play Hellboy. Does it not look good, or?
It looks cheesy. It feels very cheesy. Whether or not that's a deal breaker for someone is entirely up to personal taste. I like a lot of cheesy things, but for a lot of people, the Guillermo del Toro films are their idea of Hellboy. A lot of people don't even think about it being based on a comic book, and so they don't think about this being an alternate adaptation. They just think about this being a reboot of a couple of really damn good action fantasy movies.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a good thing, right? I guess. We don't know until the movie comes out.
That's
Well, suffice it to say, the trailer looks ridiculous.
Fair enough.
it looks
Yeah.
okay. My
I
thing
saw.
on GC,
Go ahead.
you
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the thing that struck out the most for me for that is just the way Hellboy looks, because now he looks like Hellboy cosplaying as an unwashed metal fan from the 80s.
Well, my trouble with that is just the fact that his face doesn't move as much as it should. It's like the actor is fighting the prosthetics. The prosthetics don't complement him. They hold him back.
I remember the original Hellboy movies that I saw. And the actor back then, you could tell.
Ron
Yes,
Perlman.
there was a lot of
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, Ron.
Give the man his due.
Oh yeah, you could tell that the makeup and prosthetics were fighting his expressions a little bit, but he was working with them. He was because in the comics, Hellboy was a very solemn, very straight-faced character who made a lot of smart-ass comments with a deadpan expression. He was working with that with the prosthetics and makeup.
Yes, that's very true. And also, I mean, it's just Ron Perlman. You can't go wrong with Ron Perlman. Heck, he didn't even need that much makeup. Just look at the fellow. All he needed was the big old things on his forehead, a bit of red face paint. He's good as gold. This fellow has a similar sort of facial structure, which could have worked really well for it, but I feel like the prosthetics let him down. They tried to do too much, and as a result, they took away from what made him such a good physical fit for the part, which was his facial structure is perfect for that. They didn't need to do that much, but they chose to do that much, and it didn't quite work.
Yeah, sometimes the makeup and prosthetics, it can actually really get in the way of the performance, and that's like that's the challenge of the makeup artist. They really have to try to strike that balance when a lot of prosthetics is involved.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, from the trailers alone, this batch failed.
Okay, I have to see the trailer for myself. This is reminding me of it's a pretty new video. It's from Wired, the channel Wired on YouTube. It's where Kevin Smith he goes through all the Spider-Man media from like the TV shows to the cartoons and the feature-length movies. And when he got to the first Spider-Man from Sam Raimi, he was saying how uh, the scenes between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, it looked a little silly because they just looked like characters, like it looked like a scene right out of Power Rangers, right? And it was a problem that like both of their faces are covered, and then you have Willem Dafoe. He has like the most expressive face in
Oh
Hollywood,
God!
and you just like cover it up with this bulky mask, and you're like, I can't like appreciate their performances if you keep covering up their facial expressions. And that was never something I ever even thought about, like how especially Spider-Man's uniform, his costume, it covers up his entire freaking head. You can't see his eyes, you can't see his mouth. So yeah, that's a big challenge for the performer to try to really use
Work with that.
to use his physicality. So yeah, that was an interesting thing he pointed out to me.
They definitely had a step in the right direction with the Homecoming mask, with the animated eyes that would widen and contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that is one thing that actually happened a lot in not only the animated series but also the comics. The eyes on the mask would move.
Yeah,
but they had no explanation in the comics or in the cartoons. They were just a bit of artistic license. And you can get away with that in a comic, you can get away with that in a cartoon, but you couldn't get away with that in live action unless you could come up with some way to show that in a believable fashion. And here I commend the people in charge of design, because they came up with something that looked quite believable with the contracting irises, kind of like an aperture on a camera.
Yeah.
Hi, Terror of Death. We noticed you.
Yes, Terror of Death has commented, "Your god has arrived. Praise me or be destroyed."
Sorry, I've been on a megalomaniacal kick lately. How are things going?
Yeah.
So that's all fun.
Yeah. But in terms of movies this year, I didn't see a lot in 2018, unfortunately. Did you guys go to the theater a lot this year?
Less than I wanted to. I had to start saving money for.
Me and time going to the theater is non-existent.
Yeah, fair enough.
I saw Halloween.
How was that?
I love Halloween.
We've heard your ranting about how amazing the movie is, Ashton. We don't need to hear it 50 more times.
Hey, chat, did you hear me ranting about how amazing the movie is?
Say yes.
The answer is no, because I know you haven't. Are you going to lie to me because he tells you to? That's not very nice of you.
What else came out this year?
See, they're agreeing with me.
Let's see. I'm going through the list right now.
No, please, no.
There's the Mortal Engines, which did not do too well.
What the heck? Is that a YA thing?
Some sort of post-apocalyptic steampunk movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the general premise behind the Mortal Engines is, for some reason, in the far-off future, cities are now mobile, and they will come in and wreck each other for spare parts to keep themselves moving. And there's one city that is a big, bad motherfucker, and that city is London. So look out! London is coming.
Okay.
Revenge for World War II.
That was the big first trailer that I saw, and I thought, hey, that looks like really silly fun. But I wasn't really hooked. I don't know anything about the characters. I don't know what the story is beyond, hey, there's big old cities on wheels. I liked the absurdity of the premise and how they just leaned right into it, but at the same time, I had this gut feeling this cannot be as good as it looks.
I kind of like Sage's answer. Mortal engines equal Howl's Moving Castle. I gotta remind you of one thing though. Howl's Moving Castle did not fight things. Apparently, this one has Howl's Moving Castles that fight.
That's why
see
like
that-
College Road, Mad Max meets Star Wars meets Howl's Moving Castle, which I think is a very good summary of the whole thing.
Did you ever see, I think it was in Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, the opening of that film is a bunch of office workers who have
I
decided to
remember that one.
mobilize their building. You know, about a
And then they
massive
stormed-
chunk of that movie's budget went towards that whole sequence where they
it was
were
glorious.
setting sail with the buildings. They spent so much money on that one scene, it nearly bankrupted the film just for that.
But it was glorious.
It was worthwhile. It was worthwhile.
Seeing them attack another office building, that was amazing.
You need to watch that movie.
Indeed.
Black Panther came out in 2018. I thought it was 2017. That was so long ago.
And it was the very, very beginning of the year. They were talking
Yeah,
about it during the
that's
Oscars.
Yeah. Let's see what else. I did finally watch Mission Impossible. Is it 4 or 5? I've lost count. I think 5.
6.
This one is 5.
6.
Is it 6?
This
No.
is 6.
Is it really 6? No way. Is
Yep.
it 6?
Yeah,
We had 1, 2, and 3, and then we had Ghost Protocol, and then we had Rogue Nation. So Fallout is number 6.
Oh, very good.
No, oh God, it is 6. My God. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good. It was entertaining, though I can't say that I'm dying to rewatch it again, but it was fun. Like, the stunts in this one were, again, like, pretty insane. It was good. I liked it. And I liked that there was closure in the end between 2 certain characters. I won't say in case of spoilers, but yeah, it was nice.
I still have to watch that movie. I'd really like to do so, if only to see the mustache that defeated the Justice League.
Yeah, it's a pretty bitchin' mustache, I have to say. That's an awesome mustache.
An epic mustache.
Yeah. 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 Was the CGI to cover up that mustache that bad in Justice
Yes.
League?
Yes, it was. It
Like there was
something
something weird going on with his upper lip.
His upper lip was bizarre. They almost kind of changed his facial structure almost because it looked strange and wrong. It
Yeah.
projected just a little bit in front of his actual face, and you could see it whenever he turned his head that it just didn't look right.
I don't
It didn't-
remember. Would it
it was
have been really bad if he had shaved it off and then for Fallout he just wore a fake mustache? Surely they have good enough.
Here's the thing: it was a lot of pettiness between the studios in some respects. They wanted him to come back. He grew the mustache specifically for the part in Fallout because he thought he was done with Justice League.
Right.
And
yeah.
then they suddenly said, "Oh, come back. We're going to reshoot all of your scenes in this movie."
Oh,
And he's like, "Oh shit!"
Wow.
yeah.
So, he says, so he goes up to Tom Cruise and says, Mr. Cruise, would it be all right if I were to shave my mustache for the Superman thing? No. And then Warner Brothers shows up at Mr. Cruise's house, and they're like, "Hey, Tom, how you doing? Listen, how about this? If you let him shave his mustache, we will personally CG on a mustache for everything else in Fallout. Here, we've brought you some samples of clips from our other Superman movies, except we've digitally inserted a mustache to show you, hey, we can do this. We can make it look damn convincing."
You don't need CGI. You just need
No.
an actual mustache. You just need a fake, attachable mustache. They make convincing wigs. I'm pretty sure they can make a convincing mustache. What the hell? I don't understand.
Well, even so, they made their offer, and I'd like to do my Tom Cruise impression one last time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
No.
Yeah,
sorry
no,
to-
I'm not doing that. We're not doing fake mustaches on my movie. Yeah, I'm gonna jump out of a plane.
yeah.
Bye. So they
And
then
even though
had-
he's in a house, he actually jumps out of a plane.
Right.
Yes, they were still wondering how he managed to accomplish that. Scientists are investigating it as we speak.
All you need to know, he's Tom Cruise. That's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So after that point, they realized, oh my God, we're going to have to go through the absolutely impossible task of removing a mustache digitally.
Yeah.
And making it look good.
So they had already spent something like, I don't know how many millions of dollars on the film, and then they dedicated a few million more to removing the mustache instead of, oh, I don't know, finishing their other effects. Like, for instance, we have Steppenwolf, who looks like he came out of I'm going to be generous here, I'll say a PS3 game, but he still looks like he came out of a video game. There's one scene where the Flash zips through and zips straight through a parademon and gets covered in green neon blood, and he's like, ew, gross. And as he's squirming around, it doesn't quite track to his suit. It's moving just half a second too late.
Oh,
And
no.
so it just looks horrible. It looks like the kinds of effects you'd see in, like, do you guys remember Spy Kids 3D?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Fondly.
That was
Oh my God.
that was literally going through my head as I was looking at that on the screen. And here's the kicker. The very next shot that he appears in, they cut away from him, they cut back to him. It's all gone.
Oh
They
God.
did not remember to put it back on him in the next shot.
That sucks.
It was amazing. I've never caught that massive of a continuity flub on my first viewing before. I felt, oh my God.
Oh, it sounds glorious. I still haven't seen Justice League. I still
know
haven't
what?
seen it.
No, I haven't
Kind
seen
of
it.
fun.
I really don't. I have no interest in seeing that. I'd sooner watch Man versus, what is it called? Batman versus Superman.
Oh,
Yes, it's a very complicated title.
Yeah, and
Not
then
very memorable.
I still haven't seen Man of Steel either because it just looks so boring.
Frankly,
I
I don't
mean,
think there's
if you
anything.
haven't seen either of those two, then you'll get nothing out of Justice League.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
I've seen both.
it's not a big loss for me.
Mm.
Aquaman just came out. Like it's fighting against Mary Poppins, and then I watched A Quiet Place. Did anyone watch A Quiet Place?
No, but I want to. It looked good.
It's really good, really effective. There's Annihilation. I thought that was a pretty decent sci-fi movie. It's done by the same guy who did Ex Machina.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at the idea of Aquaman versus Mary Poppins.
Yeah. And it's ironic too, for people who don't know. My money's on Mary Poppins. My money is absolutely on Mary
Guys,
What?
I've got the YouTube stream up as well, so I can look at the chat. Is anyone else getting the white circle spinning on their video feed?
I am not.
I am not.
I was
We
there
do
for
have
a
people
minute.
referencing Annihilation. I think it's just you. The white
Yeah,
circle
probably.
usually only...
Yeah.
I've gotten the white circle myself many times, as I think have many people whose internet has not always been the most reliable. That said, I usually get good internet here, so I should be fine. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
Normally my internet's fine, but what it is with all the cold weather and snow that we've been getting here in my end, it's kind of screwing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh gods, Dark Reyes.
Oh,
That was perfect.
Jenna Coleman Cubero, she's saying, I'm still waiting for a Mary Poppins versus Willy Wonka movie.
Avengers Infinity War is the most ambitious crossover event of all time.
No, that
Totally
would be... God, that would be such a trippy movie. In terms of who would win that battle, who would you put your money on? That's a tough call.
I don't know. Keep in mind, we are talking about a world of pure imagination.
But at the same time, Mary Poppins is clearly a witch. So if she's in the same universe as Harry Potter...
But then Willy Wonka does also have his Oompa Loompas at his beck and call. You don't know their power.
You know what? There's always been a theory, a headcanon theory that's been going around the internet that Mary Poppins is a witch who graduated from Hogwarts, and she was a Ravenclaw, whereas Willy Wonka was a Slytherin graduate. And the reason you know he's a Slytherin graduate is because somehow, with all this obvious magic that's going around in his factory, he still hasn't broken the statute of secrecy. He's always finding the loopholes.
Yeah.
Now we come to the biggest question. Which Willy Wonka are we talking about?
No, hands down,
Wilder.
obviously Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka is
but he's the more beloved version, but which one is more likely to win in a fight
Gene
against...
fucking Wilder, okay.
Why?
Because he's Gene Wilder.
Because he's Gene Wilder, and Johnny Depp's Tim Burton's reimagining of that character is he's just a insecure, lost little boy. Like Mary Poppins would eat him for breakfast, okay? Her whole thing is about disciplining children. She would like school Johnny Depp, Willy Wonka in a day, okay? Movie
thematically relevant in this kind of a fight. It would give her motivation to try and fight him, and it would represent the struggle between the attempts to scold that kind of a child, get them to grow up, and his refusal to do so. There is a natural opposition in these two forces.
I guess, but she would win hands down immediately.
Though I can say there is a version of Wonka.
Why? Again, like I said, her whole calling in life is about guiding. Yeah, is about putting children not in their place per se, but helping them out. So it'd be less of a fight and her just schooling him and then telling him.
Trying to school him.
No, not trying to school him. Do you like the Tim Burton Willy Wonka movie?
No. I'm just willing to take a look at this. I am open-minded enough to give this idea a try.
So anyway, there is a version of Wonka who I think would be able to beat the Gene Wilder version, the Tim Burton version, and Mary Poppins.
The book version?
No, it's not the book version.
It's one from Tom and Jerry. Oh, never mind.
Oh, the stage version. I've never seen. I didn't know they made a stage version of Willy Wonka.
There is a stage version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Here's the thing about that movie, or about the play. The only two children that survive are Charlie and Tim TV. That's it.
Yeah.
Augustus Gloop gets decapitated by the tube. Augustus Gloop gets decapitated by the tube. Veruca Salt is ripped apart by a bunch of rabid squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
Violet explodes
from
having too much juice in her.
So this is like a darker like they're not even trying to be ambiguous about the children's fate. They just say they died, basically.
No, they literally show Veruca Salt being ripped apart by angry squirrels while the song is calling her a bad nut.
Yeah. In the play version, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you ever see that Funny or Die sketch with Christopher Lloyd playing Willy Wonka?
I don't think I have.
Oh God, that's scary.
Do yourselves a favor, look up Willy Wonka, Funny or Die. Basically, it is a trailer for a horror remake of Willy Wonka.
Yeah, that would work. That would absolutely.
Starring Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It is delightful. From what I recall, I haven't seen it in a very long time.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I assume
question.
it's still delightful.
Yeah, right. So I have a question for everyone.
I have an answer.
What was your best gift you received this Christmas?
I didn't receive very many gifts.
That's because you suck, Ashton.
Yeah, I didn't receive any gifts either. I received some chocolate tea and a gingerbread cookie from my friend and their kids, so that was nice.
I got some Lindor chocolates. This is the last one.
Nice.
Those are good. Lindor chocolate truffles are amazing.
Yeah.
You got what?
Yes.
Whole bunch of books. You can actually see them here in the background.
Nice.
Ah, yes. I see a few of my favorite titles like Page.
How many of them
Pages.
did you actually buy
Lots
yourself?
of pages.
Myself, well, I got gift cards, of course. Probably bought about 20 of them.
You bought 20 of your books? That's awesome.
I enjoy going to used bookstores.
Right. I bought myself a book actually a few days ago. I've only read like the first few pages, but it's good so far. It's another memoir, nonfiction book. Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. So it's pretty good so far. At least the first 3 pages I've read, but it's good. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Pardon me for a minute. I shall return.
Yeah.
Well, I think
on Boxing Day I bought myself some new jeans because I don't have any jeans. So yeah.
Hey. Well, I think my best gift kind of trumps everyone's, no matter what.
Okay, go shoot.
Christmas Eve, I go over to a friend's house. We've known each other since we were about 5 years old.
Oh.
His mother considers me family. Their entire family consider me family. Every year, they give me a bunch of presents, and every year I tell them, I look at her and go, Ma, you don't have to keep giving me this many presents. She always leans in close and says, Keith, say yes. She said, you're part of this family, right? Yes, Ma. Shut up and say thank you. Thank you, Ma. But no, apparently, I just found out for the last 3 months, she's been freaking out, thinking she wasn't going to get this thing done. Okay? What it is she hand-made me, hand-stitched, this large quilt with my name in the center of the quilt, and it's got this fabric on the inside of it that just holds a whole lot of warmth. She hand-stitched this for me.
So
well, show it to us. Is it on you?
No, it's not on me. It's sitting on the back of my chair.
Well, no, like show it to us.
Okay, give me a second.
Like, don't bring it up and not show it to us.
And real quick, the Terror of Death has gotten to brag that he got a whole bunch of Wheel of Time books for Hanukkah, which is awesome. How many books are in that series? Like 12?
Oh, by the way, one thing, ladies and gentlemen. When I wish you Merry Christmas, I don't care what nationality or what you celebrate. To me saying Merry Christmas is the same thing as me wishing you a Happy Hanukkah or you wishing me a Joyous Kwanzaa or what the fuck ever. To me, what it is you're saying, I hope you and your family have the best holiday ever. I hope you're all okay. That is what I mean when I say Merry Christmas to you.
Has that been an issue with you before?
Yeah, I've had people sit there and complain about that to me before. People, oh, you can't say Christmas. It has to be Happy Holidays. You can't say Christmas. You can't say Christmas. You might offend someone.
Frankly, consider the intent of someone's words. I don't care what they say as long as they're being pleasant about it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's kind of my philosophy on it. I mean, for me, I either go with either Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. I always go with Happy Holidays to be safe, but like I wouldn't get offended if somebody assumed I celebrated Hanukkah or whatnot. I'd be like, thank you. Yeah, that's gorgeous. That's so pretty.
Yeah. if you look closer at the patches,
Dude, nice.
What did you? Oh, Iron Man. Nice.
Iron Man, Spider-Man, Marvel
So
Comics.
awesome. My
She
God.
handmade this for me.
That's great. I love it.
I pulled it out of the box, and my immediate reaction after I unfolded it was to carefully fold it back up, put it back in the box, look her dead in the eye, mind you, she's sitting next to me, and say, "Thank you for my new snuggle blanket. This is going on my chair for when I get cold."
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who touches it without my permission is going to draw back a stump.
Oh God.
She hand knit that for me.
No,
She
that's
hand stitched that for
insane.
me. So it's one of those things where anyone touches it without my permission, they're drawing back a stump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Better
Well,
patches than Fallout 76.
yeah, it's one of
That's
a
not that
kind.
hard to be.
Yeah, that's a great Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two biggest gifts I gave, I actually didn't give a lot of Christmas gifts this year. I baked some cookies for a few people, and then the most expensive gift I bought was for my friend's daughter. Because for her son, I got him a bed set, some bed sheets basically and the bed sheets is covered like with a bunch of baby dragons taking a bath or whatnot. And
Aww.
then I know it's really awesome bed sheets. Like seriously, I would buy one if they had it in like adult size. And then from the same store, they had a bed set for girls, which is basically covered in pink elephants. And the two kids, the brother and the sister, they're obsessed with Dumbo ever since watching it, and they would sometimes yell out "pink elephants." So I got that for the sister, but then I didn't know what to get the boy for Christmas because the dragon bed sheets were for his birthday, and I kept trying to look around for something. I couldn't find anything, so I got him like a tea towel, which is like, I know this sounds like the lamest gift ever, but he actually ended up loving it, and he used it as like a blanket for his two stuffed animals. And
Aww.
I initially got it for him too because he has this bad habit of wiping his nose on everybody's clothes. Like he would just go up to you and wipe his nose on you, and you're like, "What are you doing?" So like I bought that for him as like an oversized handkerchief so he could learn to like wipe his nose on it instead of everybody else. So yeah. Yeah. I'm asking, what did you guys get? Like, what kind of gifts did you guys give away? And I'm also asking the chat too. What was like the biggest gift you gave away this season?
I don't often give away many gifts,
Mm-hmm.
but so going back to that same family,
Mm-hmm.
every year we draw names out of a hat,
Right.
and that's who we're supposed to get a Secret Santa gift for, but it's not really secret. That night you let everyone finds out who had whose name. Every time Ma or Pop draw my name, I get
Mm-hmm.
pranked.
Oh no.
Every time. So I decided to get a little revenge this year because I drew Pop's name. Ha 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 ha.
Right.
I went to Walmart and I found these absolutely beautiful slippers. They're elf shoes with sequins on them. The kind that where you rub it one way, it's red, you rub it the other, it's green. The toes curl, and there's a large jingle bell on on the end of the toes.
Mm-hmm.
The left one is a deeper tone, the right one is a high pitched tone. There's gold and white fur around the ankles. They are the most god awful, gaudy things I have ever seen. So I bought them and gave it to him.
I'm sure they appreciated it.
Oh, he looked at me and said, "Thanks, Keith. I really appreciate these. I'll have to try these on later." Ma looked at him and said, "Where do you think you're going, dear? To put these away. I'll try them on later." "Sweetie, you're going to try them on now." "I'm wearing boots." "That's okay. We'll wait." And she crosses her ankles, puts her hands together in her lap, and just smiles at him.
Yeah.
He had to spend the rest of the night during the entire event wearing the slippers.
That's funny. Well, no, as he should. That's just good manners.
Real quick while I'm thinking about it, and she has been in the chat the entire time. We should owe a quick thanks to Yuko Chu, who is the t-shirt artist. We also recently opened up the t-shirt store, rather merch store, more accurately, for the channel, and all the artwork has been done by her. So,
That's awesome.
Dude, I've known she's been in the chat since the beginning before we even started. Me and her were talking together.
yes, but we didn't do a shout out, so it doesn't count.
We didn't do a shout out. We didn't do a shout out.
No,
I'm crazy real coming when you're bitch.
Anyway, Yukuchu, yeah, the artwork, all the merchandise looks fantastic because of you. So.
Ashton?
Yes?
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Thought you were still muted.
No, I think he was just listening to us going on and on.
Well, I'm going to mute it for a second while I get up and get the power cable from my laptop.
Aha. But yeah, thank you very much, Yuko Chu, especially for the design work you've done on the GSC shirt as well. And again, everyone, pink is outlawed permanently. There will be no pink on my shirt. Not even for you, Kyle.
Yeah, I don't think pink really goes with the branding for this channel.
Probably not. More than purple colors, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kyle keeps threatening me that he's going to get me a pink shirt, and that's going to be the GC shirt.
What's wrong with the pink shirt?
Real men
Pink
wear
is pink is one of those colors I hate. Just because I don't like it for part of the reason. The other part of the reason is my ex really, really, really loves pink.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And the less I have to do with that sanctimonious sack of Siberian sheep shit, the better.
Okay, fair enough.
Nice alliteration, right?
That was pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think there's any kind of color I dislike, actually. I mean, there's certain shades of certain colors. Like, I guess I'm not a fan of neon shades, neon anything.
Oh, neon shades are ugly.
Yeah, they can be. I mean, in lights, like neon lights are pretty. They can be when used properly, but in clothing, like, no thank you.
In clothing, the only time I can sit there and really start accepting a neon in clothing is when it's against a dark fabric and used as an accent for a design. Like if it's a solid black shirt, the design itself is black, but it's outlined in, say, bright red.
Yeah.
That would actually look pretty cool.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Have you guys experienced anything stressful during this season? Because, it's the winter Christmas season. It's always stressful.
Outside of my job, not too much.
Yeah, same thing here.
Well, that's good. I got into a car accident, so that was great.
Oof.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. Like, it's just more humiliating and frustrating than anything else. Nobody was hurt. My car is okay. But it was my fault because I ended up scratching up 2 cars at the same time because, that's how I roll. And the way it happened was I was parking, and then I guess I lost I lost focus for like 3 seconds, and that was enough time for the car to roll forward on me, even though it was in reverse, and it squeezed itself in between 2 parked cars. And I was like,
Ooh.
yeah, and it was terrifying. I didn't know what was happening. And I didn't even feel the car roll. It was happening so slowly. Like, thank God nobody was standing in front of the car, because I didn't feel a goddamn thing before it was like way too late to stop it. And yeah, but anyway, I have to deal with that, and yeah, that was fun. And then I canceled like the last day of work because of that, the anxiety of that, and it, like, the drive was way too far and too early in the morning anyway, and I'm like, you know what, this is a sign that I need to take a break. It's good. So
Understand. Real quick though, Canada, do you drive on the left side of the road or the right side?
They drive in the middle.
What? No, I think we drive on the same side as you guys. We drive on the right side of the road. Yeah, on the right side. We drive on the right side of the road.
I was only teasing Diane, I promise.
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't sure because a lot of countries drive on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, haha.
France is the only normal country in all of Europe in that regard.
Yeah.
Oh, so fun fact, when I was working at Walmart, I helped out this woman who married a Marine about 40 years ago, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This little old lady, sweet, sweet woman, and she saw that I was wearing my Navy hat. And she looked at me and said, I've always wondered what it is about the military. You all harass and torment each other so often, but you act like you're the closest family. She said, I don't understand what it is. She
Yeah.
said, I don't understand it at all. I looked at her and said, ma'am, do you have siblings? She said, yes, I do. I said, okay. Do you and your siblings torment each other? And she got that little grin and that shifty-eyed look and said, no, of course not. I said, uh-huh. She said, well, maybe a little. I said, you just had your answer right there. All it is between us is sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
She looked at me and said, in 40 years of marriage to my husband, it has never been explained so clearly and simply as that. She said, you have explained to me in 5 minutes what he couldn't explain to me in 40 years.
Yeah.
She said, and for that, I will tell you a secret. I said, okay.
Oh.
She said, this is a secret about France. I said, okay. She said, you know how Paris is the city of light, the city of love, the city of magic? I said, yeah. She said, it's bullshit. Paris is the city of assholes. I said, excuse me? She looked at me and said, I'm not kidding. Everyone hates Parisians. Even Parisians hate other Parisians.
It
She
sounds
said,
like
if you
New
want...
York.
Yeah, right?
Sounds
She
like
said,
Lake Stevens.
if you want to go to find someplace loving and sweet and kind, she said, you go out to the French countryside. The people there will treat you like you are part of their family, and they will love you.
Yeah.
They will be nice. They will be kind. That you will get amazing food. Go out to the country.
Right. Yeah.
I said, thank you for that information.
Yeah. I've heard that about France, and specifically Paris too. Like, they say, yeah, Paris is known to be very cold, snobby people, but when you go out to the countryside and other parts of France, it's a lot more inviting and warm. Yeah, I hear that about Italians too. Like, they're very warm, affectionate people, and they will try to kill you with food the second you step into their house. Like, it's just like, they say, you want a snack, and then it's like a banquet on the table, and they expect you to eat all of it.
Well, here's the thing. you've seen lasagna, right?
Oh yeah,
You've seen how big a good lasagna can get, right?
I guess so. Yeah,
The big, hefty chunk of lasagna.
yeah.
Guess what? In Italy, that's considered a salad.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So I want you to think about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a salad.
Yeah.
And yet, if you look at a lot of Italians, they're very thin people.
No, same with the French. Like, I don't understand. They have like the best food in the world, and yet they're not crazily obese. I don't know their secret, but I think it's about like they'll indulge in like fatty food, but it's all about, at least in France, it's about portion control. I don't know how Italy does it, if their portions are like so generous, if what you say is true.
It's not that their portions are so insanely generous. What it is Italian food, especially if you're up in the mountainous areas. The Italian food is designed, the way it's designed and the way it works is it's made for, okay, people have been out in the field, in the olive fields, working.
Right.
It is heavy food designed to keep you going all day.
Right, calories, right? Like, because they're like, yeah, spending it in the fields, farming all day.
Yeah. For example, a normal Italian breakfast tends to have a lot of cheeses, a lot of breads, a lot of fruits and vegetables and berries.
Mm-hmm.
And Italian dinners, on the other hand, are big, healthy, hearty meals.
Mm-hmm.
Sicilian cooking, which is anything down on the coast of Italy, that's where you get a lot of the sweet foods, a lot of the sweet, sugary foods that are more based around seafood than anything else. Up in the mountains, you don't have that option. Most of their food is rich and hearty and designed to keep you going. Down on the coast, it's less necessary for that. So it's literally, just by going from the coast to the mountains, you have two entirely different types of food.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Even though you can have the exact same recipe, the two styles are entirely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jumping subjects real quick. Someone in the chat asked, "Is anyone doing anything for New Year's resolutions?"
Oh.
Hopefully, getting laid.
That's a good one.
The last time I got laid was back in 2013. I'm hoping.
Oh my god.
I'm a horny bastard. What can I say?
Fair enough. I was kind of propositioned this winter season. That doesn't
Ooh
usually
la la. Oh,
yeah.
honey, you have to tell us now.
No, I told you before. It was it was kind of like a drunk messaging type of situation. Yeah, so that's never happened to me before. I've never been drunk dialed or ever in that situation before. So I'm like, oh wow, this is happening. This is a new experience for me. But I think I just talked to him until he fell asleep, and that was it. Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, exactly, that one. In terms of resolutions, getting my podcast started for my channel, and of course trying to write another video essay. I know I'm horrible at that, guys, but like at least the podcast will be something, and I think it'll be easier to like at least that's content in another sense, even though it's less produced in terms of like as a compared to a video essay. It's easier to get out that way. And then yeah, just keep working, save money, get my car fixed, and that's about it. Right now.
I'm sorry for laughing, but it's what the terror of death wrote.
GC, stop making me hungry. You're starting to look like a giant piece of pie.
Oh, shit. What are your
What's the matter, Terror? Do you want a giant Reese's cup peanut butter cup? I'll share.
Is that actually a peanut butter cup?
Yes, it is. It is an 8-ounce Reese's peanut butter cup.
Oh,
Nice.
Jesus.
I have 2 of them.
Oh my God. I don't think I would have been able to find that in Canada. Kyle, Ash, what are your New Year's resolutions or goals or whatnot? Don't call them resolutions because that's like a surefire way that you won't get them done, apparently.
As the usual stuff, work out more, things like that. But I'm hoping to do a lot more to grow the channel this year. 2018 was great. I'm hoping to make 2019 better.
Yeah.
Things like that. Get a new job.
Yeah, that's good. Ash, how about you?
Well, I hadn't really given it very much thought, I must admit. I really just let the time go by. So I haven't kept much track of when holidays were coming up, especially not New Year's. I hadn't even thought about that one. Let's see here. Let's see if I can come up with any off the top of my head. I don't know. Like, a friend of mine wants to get into doing a podcast with me. That might be fun.
That'd be good. You'd be awesome at a podcast.
Yeah, we recorded an episode a long time ago. I still have to properly edit it. We were going over the very first chapter of Berserk. It was nice. What's the word I'm looking for? We had very great on-mic chemistry. It was just back and forth, no dead space. Just naturally kept going.
Yeah.
No dead space, very little filler talk, just kept going at a cracking pace.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's what you want.
It'll be fun to listen to.
Yeah. Like, I would want to try and at least write a very simple short film, and it would be very cheap and easy to shoot. I just need a good idea, I think. But that would be fun to do. Because I miss doing creative things, but I've just dedicated so much of my time to work this year. But I think I've saved up a lot of money, so I think once the season does die down, finally, I can maybe dedicate the off time to like doing more for the channel and just more creative things. So here's hoping.
Hey, Kyle. I like Kensei Hayabusa's recommendation for your New Year's resolution. You should move to Oregon or California. It'd be a great idea for you for one simple reason. That would make it a lot cheaper for me to find you.
No. I am comfortable in Virginia, thank you.
Fine, I'll call Slade.
Yeah, she already does torment me from time to time, but...
Yes, but she'll give me your address. We've been over this before. She will sell you out for a Klondike bar.
She probably would, actually. But while I'm thinking about it, actually, I am one other thing I'm hoping to get done this year is finish up my book. I'm going through on the second draft now. I think it's good, but of course I'm biased as hell. So hopefully by the time I'm done with it, maybe by the end of February, I'll be able to get a few people out, get a few copies out to get people's thoughts on it.
Could me, Ash, and Keith get a copy?
I'm sure I can work something out there.
That'd be
You're talking about like a finished product or a second draft when it's done?
Either one.
Okay, either. I can definitely hook you up when the book's actually published.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you guys seen the who was asking? Blaster Master. He asked if we watched the trailer to Us, the new Jordan Peele movie.
I saw it. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Jordan's definitely on a roll with these movies.
Definitely. I'm hoping the tone of the movie is more similar to Get Out, where it's still a horror movie, but it's not too crazy scary. I don't know, because I felt like Get Out, there was like it was a really good balance in both humor and horror and thriller that made it more digestible for, I think, a wider audience, as opposed to like a straight up horror movie like, say, Hereditary, or I don't know, The Evil Dead, or something like that. So yeah, but it looks really, really good. And I'm probably gonna
Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o. Yeah, her American accent is like flawless. So, yeah, and she's great in everything she does. So I'm excited to see her in more stuff. Yeah, so let's see. Like, are you guys excited for any other movies in 2019?
Aside from the obvious Endgame.
Oh, Endgame, right. I haven't watched the trailer to that because I'm like, yeah, I still haven't seen Infinity War, so I've been
A
pretty
game
good at both.
I am massively waiting for, and I've already mentioned this in the Facebook page several times, is
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts 3. I've been waiting for this game for 13 fucking years.
Oh
If
my
anyone
god, yeah.
anyone spoils anything for this game for me, I am not going to be nice. Death will be a mercy.
I thought it was released already, but it still hasn't been, right? Yeah, I'm
January
really
29th.
excited. I'm even though I have like zero, I don't have any way to play this game. I don't have a video game system. But like eventually I really want to play this game. I will find a way to play this game. I'm so excited for it. The plot of Kingdom Hearts makes zero effing sense, but it's just such a fun game. So I'm really excited for it.
I never did play those games.
Really?
The plot makes more sense when you sit there and actually play the games in chronological order instead of title order.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. I'll have to look up about 15 different guides.
No,
Yeah.
actually,
I just play the game because it, yeah.
there's
For me,
actually a channel here on YouTube that
of course there is.
they are taking all the cutscenes and they've been putting them in chronological order of what happens when, even to the point where they've got cutscenes from one game overlapping with others, so you know, okay, this is what's happening at point A and point B at the same time. And it's making life a lot easier.
You know what this reminds me of? There was a fan project in the Berserk community editing together clips from the various different animes and video games to create as comprehensive as possible a visual representation of the Berserk manga. It was called the Berserk Redux Project. And, well, a lot of people liked it. I couldn't quite get into it myself. I just saw all of the quick transitions and the harsh cuts to the soundtrack. And given that in many of these cases the soundtracks are highlights, it just doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
Oh well.
No. 2019, though, it's looking to be a pretty packed movie season. There's obviously all the comic book movies. The Star Wars movie is coming out. The Disney remakes are coming out. Quentin Tarantino's new movie is coming out called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And that's always a big deal. Oh my God, John Wick 3 is coming out. I'm so excited for that. And then the Men in Black, the new Men in Black is coming out too. And that trailer looked really fun. Frozen 2 is coming out in 2019. Holy crap. Oh, Kyle, this is like easily a future episode for you. They have finally made a movie for the books Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, I saw the first trailer. I have not read the books. I know nothing about it.
I've read the books.
Apparently, a lot of people are upset about it.
Well, I like the director, although not for. I don't think he's the best director in the world. I think he's a very entertaining director. It's Kenneth Branagh. He's the fellow that made that insane Poirot movie not too long ago. Oh my God, did you see his mustache in The Murder on the Orient Express?
That
I
was
didn't mind that
much.
movie.
It's like he saw two really good designs for a mustache from the makeup department and decided, he said, you know what? I like both of those. I can't decide which one.
Together.
Let's just do them both.
Yeah,
Let's super glue them together.
Yeah, that mustache was pretty. It was a pretty redonkulous looking mustache.
Oh, let's not kid ourselves. Let us sit around here and talk about the awesomeness that is Poirot's mustache.
Because I think I remember
Poirot's
watching
mustache.
a feature
Poirot.
to that movie, and there was
Poirot.
Poirot. Which Poirot?
No, they're arguing about
easy.
pronunciation now, and it's rather entertaining.
Well, he's trying to correct me. I'm making fun of his name.
Okay.
It is a very, very simple pronunciation.
Poirot?
It is, at this point, very well established that I cannot pronounce French.
Poirot.
Poirot?
It's
Poirot?
not that hard. You're not trying, Kyle. You're not trying.
Hercules Poirot.
Ashton, tell me if I've got it right. Poirot?
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a knife one of these days.
You and me both. Of course, I'm the reason you watched Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey, so I think I'm higher on his list.
Well, you're going to get multiple from me, and you know why.
Worth it.
I'm going to start at the feet and make my way up.
Didn't know you were into feet, dude.
We don't kink shame here. It's okay, GC. We accept you.
The only way I'm into feet is because they cause the most amount of pain when I'm torturing Kyle.
Oh, you're into sadism. Nice.
Only when it comes to Kyle.
Ah, I see. You found your special someone.
Oh, it's going to be
I'm really happy to hear
that. It's going to be special.
No, I wish you two the best of luck. You'd make a very cute couple. I'm very happy to hear that you found happiness with each other.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be cheering me on. And Kyle knows why.
Because of the cliffhangers I used to write when I was writing fan fiction?
Yes.
Or was it just the people who read Naruto and Hinata's Snow Day?
Oh, God.
Go ahead, Kyle. Delete them off of it. Delete them off the internet. I still have them saved on a hard drive.
I've got buddies in the NSA. I'll have them hack them off of your computer.
Who said it's... You do realize it's an external hard drive, right?
What was Naruto's catchphrase again? What was Naruto's catchphrase again? I heard he got a new one, but I'm not sure what it was.
So people are talking about Detective Pikachu and how that looks. Personally, I'm terrified of the Sonic images I've seen from the live-action movie they're making with that.
I've not seen the live-action Sonic. That was actually being filmed here in Vancouver, where I live. Do
yourself a favor and avoid it.
From the images I've seen, they've taken the Uncanny Valley and made it the Uncanny Ocean.
That is
There's only one image so far. It doesn't exactly show very much.
But still,
unpleasant.
It's still an upgrade. The live-action Pikachu, the live-action Sonic, it still looks... It looks Oscar-worthy compared to what they did to Alvin and the Chipmunks, so I'm fine with that. And Garfield, it still looks amazing compared to those.
I'm willing to give Detective Pikachu a chance because Ryan Reynolds' voice fits surprisingly well for me.
Does it?
I mean, it's weird, but I like him now ever since he started putting out Deadpool, so I'm willing to give him a shot.
Yeah. But it just looks like such a, it looks like such a desperate attempt to make Pokemon cool for the kids with like a fast
Pokemon's
Pikachu.
always been cool for the kids.
I
It's
know,
still
but they're
cool for
trying
the
to. And
kids.
it's like a bunch of business people.
What we're seeing here is actually based on a very popular adventure game of the same name, Detective Pikachu. Had a very different aesthetic, but it still seems to follow the same general storyline there, from what I understand of it.
If it does, then it does. I don't know much about the games, but if they are actually following a completely different type of storyline, then okay, then I have nothing to say. Yeah.
The only thing that really concerns me is the Mr. Mime face. And I'm pretty sure that's going to bring back horrible, unpleasant memories for anyone who saw what I did on the Facebook page.
Yes, and I had forgotten about that. You suck, by the way.
I love you too, Kyle.
Yeah. Of course, this isn't a surprise to anyone. I'm not thrilled about the live action Disney remakes.
Oh, no.
Did you guys see the what was it? I think it was like the People magazine cover with Will Smith as the genie on it.
Well, I'm biased, really.
Yeah.
To me, the only real genie to me will always be
Robin
the man,
Williams.
the myth, the legend, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I would love to sit there and get the tracks from the recording studio for Robin's lines, because fun fact, there was so much material on the cutting room floor from his sessions alone that it's about 2.5, 3 hours of just Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Him having fun. Apparently,
yes, I've heard it said they could have made a whole other movie with just what was left over.
No,
however,
it was
due
like
to
3 hours worth of like
just improv and
improv.
I would love to be able to get a hold of those and just listen to them and just enjoy it.
Yeah,
there's an issue with the rights to those recordings being held by the Robin Williams estate, which
and Disney not wanting to sit there and give them up.
Well, no, it's not just Disney. It's the Robin Williams estate that isn't letting them have it. It was part of their agreement. Disney would love to make use of those recordings and put out another Aladdin movie with Robin Williams. They know that would sell like mad, but they aren't allowed to. They are bound.
Here's the thing. The reason, because if you notice, it wasn't Robin Williams who was the genie in the second movie. It wasn't.
No, it was Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I know. I think everyone knows this at this point, right? Like
What it is it was in Robin Williams' contract with Disney for the first movie. They were supposed to release the they were supposed to release those recordings to Robin Williams after the movie was over. After the movie was produced and finished and in theaters. Disney never did. They refused. That's why that entire thing happened and why he wasn't in the second movie. He came back for the third movie, but that's only because Disney finally broke down and released the recordings to him. That's it. That's the only reason he came back for the third movie.
Well, it sounds to me like it's still not up to Disney whether or not those recordings get released to people. They gave them back to the man who rightfully owned them, and they are now still being held by his estate.
Yes, but there's just one thing. The only reason they released them is because they made a contract in the third one that they wouldn't be released for a set period of time.
Yes.
That set period of time still isn't out.
Yes, that's true.
So you're saying eventually it will get released, or
one day they should be released.
Yeah.
If if his children decide to.
Yeah, well, I think it's every right. It's every right. The children has every right to decide what they want to do with the recordings or not.
Yeah.
Regardless, I love what we got from Robin Williams for that
Oh God, I
character.
will always love it.
Oh yeah, everyone will love it. That was the first movie I turned to after his tragic death. Um,
And actually, because of how much material was on the cutting room floor, there is not a single continuous line from the genie in any of that movie. The only part that was a continuous piece was the songs. That was it. Everything else was cut and spliced for the movie, for
yeah,
the scenes.
well, that's
That
very
is the
cool.
reason. That is the reason why the first move, why Aladdin and King of Thieves could never go up for best script, because there wasn't a solid script for Robin Williams. That is why.
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about the first movie, right? Not King of Thieves.
King of Thieves was the same way. King of Thieves was the third movie, and again, it was the same thing.
But even
They
if it
let
wasn't
him go.
scripted, they could never release. It would never be Oscar worthy because it was a straight to video thing, right?
Well, yeah, for King of Thieves, yes, but for the first one, they couldn't. They could never get best script because there wasn't a solid script.
No, it
Thanks to
was
Robin
like
Williams.
there was a solid script, and then Robin Williams took it and
They-
threw it against a wall, and
Yeah,
had his
and
way
just
with
had
it.
fun.
Yeah, he just had fun. Yeah, I did remember hearing about that. They wanted to submit the movie for best screenplay, and they couldn't because like 90% of it was improv by Robin Williams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
God, I miss that.
Yeah, I know. With Will Smith,
He's got some pretty damn big shoes to fill.
He has.
I like the man, but he's got an uphill battle here.
He has an uphill battle, and I already ranted to you guys about this in our private chat, but the trailer to me looks awful.
Yeah.
Oh, the first one they released is
well,
terrible.
like it's just like a teaser, right? And again, maybe
it's a tech demo. You're just showing off locations.
Yeah, you're just showing off locations, but the color palette looks so dull and muted. And I'm like, this is supposed to be a freaking fairy tale. And like, especially when he goes into Cave of Wonders, it's just shades. It's still shadowed and like with hints of gold here and there. Like when you go into the Cave of Wonders, you're supposed to be entering this world full of treasures beyond your wildest dreams. It should be like emblazoned in like sapphire and ruby and gold, and no, it's just like shades of rock. And I'm like, yeah, that looks really wondrous, fantastic. Like when you go into that cave, you're supposed to be tempted to grab whatever you want, whatever you see, right? And it just looks so dull, and I'm like,
well, aren't you drawn in by blue mud?
what?
Aren't you drawn in by blue mud?
Now,
like seeing a cave full of blue mud, it just makes me want to grab it, you know? It's so wondrous.
Yeah.
Now, here's another reason why Will Smith has such an uphill battle. Because I've heard and seen scenes from the Broadway play of Aladdin.
Yeah.
The actors they pick for the role of the genie, they're not Robin, but they have the energy. The just having pure fun and enjoying what they're doing, having a blast. Yeah. I've seen because if you look up on YouTube, you can find the Broadway version of Friend Like Me.
Yeah, and it's a big giant tap dance number at the end. Yeah, it looks
There's
like
a tap dance number, whole 9 yards. They have a ball with it. The genie just goes nuts. He's having fun. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I don't think Will Smith can pull that same amount of energy needed.
Well, here's the thing. They also say they're going to put a hip-hop spin to the songs. I'm like, why? No, that's
Dude,
not.
that'll appeal to the young kids, yo.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Fuck
exactly
that
what I'm
shit.
thinking.
The
You're
original
like,
song.
Worst case
The original-
scenario, it's a bad movie. And you know how many bad movies we've had?
a
So
lot.
many. We've had millions of bad movies made since the invention of cinema. One more, I don't care.
I
It'll make
know.
its money.
mean-
Some people will get jobs from it, and then people on YouTube can make some extra money by ranting about
Ranting
it.
about
And
it.
hey,
I
we can
know.
get in on it too.
I get it. I get that
I
this isn't the
see
end.
nothing wrong with them making a bad remake of Aladdin.
I
It's
know.
gonna happen.
Ash, I actually do agree with you. It's just fun to rant about. Like, I can't. I honestly can't see it being as bad as the Beauty and the Beast remake. Unless they
I
decide.
could.
Yeah, you could, yeah. Well, yeah. I guess I shouldn't hold my breath.
I mean, one thing I've learned as a Berserk fan is that there is no bottom to the barrel.
They can
yeah.
always go deeper.
Yeah.
Gina Coleman Cubero actually makes a good point. If this flops as much as we think it will, what's this mean for the Lion King live action?
Nothing, because the movie's already pretty much finished. They're not going to cancel it, especially
And-
after the first trailers come out.
It's the Lion King.
Yes.
It's going to make money.
Well, yes, but
It also
If
has
it-
Beyonce, so it's going to make money. Like, I
yeah,
think half of the audience says it's just going to be Beyonce fan base.
yeah. But that's a good question. If this flops as much as we think it's going to,
I don't think it will flop. That's the problem. I
not
wish it would
It'll
flop.
make money. I
will
promise
make
you it
money.
will. Plenty
It
of people
will
are
make
going to go to
money.
see it just because they recognize, oh, hey, it's Aladdin. I liked Aladdin when I was a kid. My little girl likes to watch Aladdin on we got that Blu-ray.
You
Let's
know,
go see Aladdin. And a lot of people don't have very high standards for movies. They just want something fun to watch. And it'll be entertaining enough to keep them invested for a couple of hours while they watch a familiar story.
Just
It'll
to
make its money.
yeah,
Okay,
as much as I'm complaining, I do want to see what they're doing with it. If they end up proving me wrong, I will be the first one to admit it. I
yeah.
want it to be fantastic, but
I want it to be amazing and fantastic. If we're wrong, I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
Blaster
I mean, it won't be.
Master
It's-
actually makes a good point about the Lion King remake.
What did he say?
The director in charge of that is John
Yeah, he
Favreau.
made Jungle Book, right? And
Favreau.
he's the director
He
of
does
Iron
have a
Man.
good track record.
Yeah, he made Iron Man and he made The Jungle Book, and he's done a few really good independent films. Like I've heard fantastic things about Chef. From what I've heard, he's planning to really just do The Lion King as a shot-for-shot remake, which, I mean, I kind of respect that, recognizing when you're taking on a project that you cannot surpass. I'm kind of reminded of when Gus Van Sant remade Psycho, and he intentionally made it a shot-for-shot, line-for-line, word-for-word remake of the original Psycho, just to make sure no one else could do it, and also as a demonstration of the absurdity of doing a remake of a classic. I
Yeah.
kind of wonder if maybe Jon Favreau has this nagging idea in the back of his head to maybe try to do the same thing with Lion King. Although, I mean, the cast looks decent. The digital effects work looks all right. I do wish the animals were a bit more expressive, but that's a
Yeah.
common enough complaint.
For
I
all
remember-
for all we know, what we've seen may not be all that the trailer is. By the time it comes out, the animals might be more expressive. They might not be. We'll see when the movie comes out.
Yeah.
Well, I still think there's something to be said for the realistic style they're going for, and also
Yeah.
just changing them to be more expressive, especially after what we've seen so far with how much money they've poured into what we've got so far. It just doesn't seem really like something they would do. I
Bye,
think they've-
Yuko.
cheers.
Have a good night.
I think they've settled on their style. I remember shortly after Mowgli came out, Andy Serkis's take on the Jungle Book, a lot of people were posting articles and editorials saying Mowgli is proof as to why John Favreau and Disney have the right idea with not doing expressive animals in The Lion King. But personally, I thought the animals looked just fine in Mowgli. The only one that was at all spotty was maybe the bear, because bears have, out of all of them, the least believable, the least human faces. But aside from that, I thought it all looked fantastic, and I don't mind expressive faces on animals, especially in a dramatic presentation.
Yeah.
Still, though, if they can pull it off in other forms of presentation of their emotions through body language and the like, if they can pull that off, then I commend them for working with their own limitations in the style they chose.
Yeah.
So I'm
I just
interested
hope
in seeing that.
I just hope they do the songs well.
I did hear a nasty, miserable rumor that they were going to cut Be Prepared.
Why would you cut Be Prepared?
I heard something about the Nazi imagery with all of the hyenas
That's
goose
the
stepping.
fucking point. They are villains. Of course they're gonna look like Nazis. I don't know why people find that scene those shots so controversial. They're villains. And he's
And
supposed
this is
to be
the same studio that, as soon as they got a hold of Star Wars, they put out the Star Wars movie that I think has the most Nazi, or the most on the nose Nazi imagery I've ever seen.
Star
In
Wars.
Star Wars
Exactly.
Episode 7, you had General Hux screaming an angry speech at these soldiers in front of a giant red, white, and black flag, which then was followed by all of the stormtroopers doing "Huh!" in
Yeah,
unison.
but that's
Which
the
is
freaking point. They're not condoning Nazism. They're saying these people are bad. Therefore, they're mirroring Nazis. Like, I don't understand why that's such. And also, I watched Lion King when I was like, what, barely 7 years old. I didn't know anything about the Holocaust at that point. All I just saw was hyenas. So
And that's the thing. Once you found out about the Holocaust, once you learn about the Holocaust and the true horror of the Nazis, you look at Scar. You look at Scar, and he's just got that charisma.
yeah,
The same ability to talk
yeah,
that Hitler did. Hitler was an extremely charismatic person. We've been over this before.
yeah,
Got that charisma and that ability to talk.
yeah.
The entire movie, if you look at it, was kind of an allusion to World War II.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, if you really, really think about it, Scar is the only Disney villain to have actually truly succeeded in his plans.
Yeah, for a little while. He
was
he was winning for quite a while.
Yeah, he was also a really bad king who kind of ruined the whole kingdom, and even the hyenas didn't like him very much because he was really doing a poor job of living up to all of his promises.
Yeah,
the kingdom languished under his rule. Nothing went right, and then Simba just showed up, and without altogether that much of a fight, aside from maybe a one-on-one, 1v1 me, bro. Oh wait, look, I just won.
Yeah, he's basically
kind of a
fighting
shit
his.
king.
He's basically this 20-year-old guy fighting his elderly uncle. Of course, he's going to win.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you think about the way it was, out of every classic Disney villain, Scar is the only one to have truly succeeded in his plan for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Judge
Do
Claude
you remember
Frollo.
Sleeping Beauty?
I was thinking
Sleeping Beauty actually came right to mind.
In fact, her plan worked out well.
There's still controversy on whether
I think, like, for a few hours, for a few days, she succeeded in her plans, but then I think after, like, I think it was like in 48 hours, it went to shit.
Yeah.
Ursula, guys.
Her plan at the climax, she got what, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
When her plan got to climax, she got 30 minutes, and then she got ran through with the figurehead of a
Yeah.
boat, of a ship. She got ran through with it.
Yeah.
Judge Claude
Jump in
Frollo,
real
his
quick,
plan
Jason.
succeeded. His plan didn't even succeed. He literally fell into a fire. Gaston, he had a very bad day.
Yeah, no, he didn't succeed that much, Gaston. Not really.
Sam the Book Boy. We're not talking about Thanos. We're talking about the classic Disney villains. Thanos is not a classic Disney villain. I'm sorry, but he's not. Anyway.
Real quick, just going to jump in here because the Terror of Death wanted to point out, damn it, Disney, stop just ruining my childhood. You already ruined Beauty and the Beast. Just stop.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's funny. I watched Beauty and the Beast just the other day. It was just how I remembered it.
Yeah, but again, these movies, I don't think they will ruin. They won't ruin the past movies. Just hang on to the past movies like I do. Like I like complaining about them as much as the next person, but they don't really ruin anything. Not real, at least not really. Maybe the worst they do, I think, they waste a lot of potential. I think of this they waste a lot of potential and imagination on these movies, is what I would argue. Because they could be using the same time and money and effort on making original content, which would be nice. Because when Disney makes original content, they
tend to knock it out the park.
Yeah, they knock it out of the park. And if they keep remaking everything, eventually they'll run out of things to remake. So, it's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, think about it. The first true Disney princess movie since the first true Disney princess movie for a long time after the original set was, well, I would say it was Brave and then Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Those two were, for a long time, until those two came out, you already had your Disney princesses. And there was no change. Then you get Brave and you get Princess and the Frog.
And then Moana.
And then Tangled came out before Moana.
Yeah, Tangled, and then Moana.
Tangled, and then Moana, and you saw a return of the Disney princesses in a new way. But they were all new, original content.
Yeah.
And it just smashed them out of the park.
Yeah, it did. They already shelved, this is old news already, but the Giant movie, the supposed Jack and the Beanstalk movie, got canceled. They shelved it because I couldn't. Did you guys know that?
I hadn't heard about that, actually.
Okay,
I didn't even know that was one in the works.
Yeah, it was in the works. I think they had a lot, if not a few people from Frozen working on it. I think the songwriters of Frozen.
No. Shadow Wolf, bad. Shadow Wolf, no.
What's going on?
When's Disney's Berserk?
No.
Bad.
Well, Adi Shankar wants to make a Berserk series, but that's really all the news there is. Doesn't stop a whole lot of people from making 12-minute videos saying, hey guys, so big news. Adi Shankar, the guy behind Castlevania, he's interested in doing a Berserk series. He's been dropping a lot of hints on Twitter. He's been doing a lot of talk about it. Now, as you know, Castlevania was a very popular show, and it goes on for like 12 minutes just so he can get ad revenue, when all he's saying is, so Adi Shankar said that it might be nice to one day do a Berserk series. So anime is pretty much confirmed, but no news, nothing official.
Yeah,
comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you look at it and go, okay, you're just repeating the same rumors that the last 40 guys repeated.
Yeah,
we've already heard it.
I've been to r/Berserk a few times, the subreddit for Berserk, my friends tease me to no end for saying r/. Anyway, so on the Berserk subreddit, everybody keeps on posting the same 3 YouTube videos that all fit that same description, and they're all saying, "Hey guys, Adi Shankar, Castlevania guy, wants to make Berserk. There's a Berserk series coming out. Let's talk about it."
How about not? We've already talked it to death.
There's nothing to talk about. It's just a guy who says he might like to do it. There's nothing to talk about.
He might like to do it. Just like I might like to go eat a pizza.
Yes. Just like I might like to do a fan edit of the Castlevania series. Cut it down to a 2-hour action romp. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Especially season 2. That could definitely use some cutting down.
Yeah. Has anyone in the chat seen Mary Poppins Returns yet?
I have not.
I really want to see that one.
And I think Kyle is just sitting back here watching as the 3 of us rant and go on.
Well, I'm also paying attention to chat.
Oh, so you're taking my role for once.
Yeah, kind of role reversal.
And I'm just here playing with my wireless keyboard.
Yeah, right. For those of you in the chat who don't know, 9 times out of 10 whenever we do the streams, I'm usually the one who's mostly quiet because I'm the one paying attention to the chat and responding in the chat. Kyle, Diane, and Ashton, on the other hand, are the ones who are usually going back and forth constantly, and one of us, and I'll sit there and throw in a couple words every now and then.
Yeah.
Now it's reversed.
No, I've noticed that. You're really talkative today.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I finally have time to calm down and have a drink.
It's always good. Maybe we should open up for Q&A.
Sure.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, because I don't want to drag this out too long. I've got to get up for work in about 4 hours.
Oh, God.
Oh, sleep. Sleep is for the weak.
No, it is.
You know, I heard about this very fascinating sleep schedule where you only sleep about... your main sleep is going to be like 4 hours at night, and then a couple of 2-hour naps throughout the day, and then you're good to go for a long period of time.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I think I may have put too much sleep into that schedule, because now that I can't remember the actual proper amount. But the idea of it is really solid, just giving yourself more time in each and every day. Being able to get by on less sleep, just more strategically placed sleep, so you can survive healthily on that. Although it apparently does take a long time to get yourself acclimated to that system, and you're going to be in just a dreadful condition for that time period. But once you do, you'll have more time in the day, and that sounds like it'd be worthwhile.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, first 2 questions are for you.
Yeah. So
what's your thoughts on Goblin Slayer, and did you hear what happened to Mumkey Jones?
I have heard what happened to Mumkey Jones. I'll go after Goblin Slayer because it's easier. So Goblin Slayer, I've seen like the first 5 episodes of that one, is really basic, I think. It tried to launch itself off with a lot of shock and awe initially. The problem is it didn't really do anything to properly earn it. So, because if those of you who are not familiar with it, Goblin Slayer, the first episode has a rape scene in which a bunch of adventurers, one of them is, a couple of them are women actually. One gets murdered brutally, and one gets violently raped by a bunch of goblins. And you don't see too much, but it's clear that the series is playing with sex appeal, and they're not really treating the moment, or they don't give it the build-up or respect that a scene like that should be written with. So the whole thing comes off as this frankly awful
exploitation.
Exploitation.
You know the word I would use to describe what I've heard of it so far? Edgy. It seems really edgy.
You know what?
It looked at Berserk and it said, "Hey,
I can do that
too." Unfortunately, it's not Berserk. It's what people who don't like Berserk think Berserk is. It's just edgy, violent, offensive, and I mean, there can be entertainment value in that if you have no qualms about that kind of thing in a fictional presentation. But at the same time, you, I'm not going to go around telling people, hey, you got to watch Goblin Slayer. It's a really good show. Because it's not. It has entertainment value, but I'd never call it good. I'd never call it a deep artistic work.
I saw what Anime America sat there and had to say about because their main reviewer, Robin, she sat there and she watched it. She watched the first episode and gave her synopsis on what she thought of it. Her entire thought process on it was, I don't see why people are freaking out so much about this. How bloody and violent and horrible it all is. You're forgetting that a lot of us who are watching this, we watched things like Hellsing Ultimate. We watched things like Berserk. This is nothing.
I remember last Halloween, I sat down and binged through every episode of Hellsing Ultimate because I wanted to give Ultimate Abridged a try. So I watched it all in one sitting, and holy shit, you should never do that. You should never binge that show.
I could have warned you. You never asked.
It's a really well-made, bloody, violent action anime. But oh my god, by the end of it, I was bored. There was so much blood, so many Nazis, so much killing and death and violence, and then a Nazi goddamn werewolf. How do you make a Nazi goddamn werewolf boring? How do you make an army of Nazi vampires invading the city of London boring? You know how? By spending 5 hours on that scene.
Yeah, but there is one thing I'm pretty sure you can agree with me and a lot of people on. Do you remember Schrodinger?
Oh, yeah. The cat
that annoying
boy
little shit
who came out of nowhere. Where does he come from? Why is that a thing in this? I mean, I understand he plays a part in the ultimate downfall of Alucard, and therefore he is necessary to the plot. He serves a vital purpose to the plot.
Yes.
But where does he come from? He doesn't fit.
But I liked what Integra did. Walking onto the ship. Good evening, Sir Integra. Poof! I have rewatched that scene 1,000 times, and I always get a kick out of watching her. No change in expression.
I mean,
no change in her pace. Poof!
I mean, we see Schrodinger get his head blown off thousands of times throughout that anime.
Yes, but at the same time, that one scene is just so satisfying.
You know what's more satisfying? The jazz soundtrack to the old Hellsing series. Just listening to that, that put me in a good mood. Just seeing blood and carnage set to jazz. Vampires and jazz. Why did I never make that connection before? All vampire media should have jazz in it.
It can work.
That would be cool.
So the Terror Guest asks, have anyone seen Quad S Gerdman anime, and what are your thoughts on it if you have? Unfortunately, I have not seen it, so
I've never even heard of it.
Is that the one that's based on what? I'm trying to think. It's not Sentai. It's kaiju. Is that the one that's based on a kaiju show?
I unfortunately do not know.
I heard something about a series that was an anime that was based on one of those old guys in suits fighting on miniatures of a city. Based on one of those old shows, they adapted it into an anime where they could actually make that look really, really good. Don't get me wrong, there's an appeal to the aesthetic of those old shows. There's a reason why everybody still loves the old Godzilla movies. They're just so much fun. But there's something much more
with the old Godzilla movies. With the old Godzilla movies, the lips don't match up. Godzilla!
Oh, that's because you watched the dub. there's watching a dub for anime is one thing. Watching a dub for live action is savagery.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but even then, it just makes it so much better because those old movies, were campy as hell.
Did you ever see the very first Godzilla, the proper Japanese version of the very first Godzilla?
Yes, I did, and I saw it subbed. That thing was fucking amazing.
Yes. And I'll admit, a lot of the sequels were remarkably campy, especially some of the cheaper ones when they were kind of just running out of money and ideas and they were just doing whatever. Hell, there was
Space
one where
Godzilla.
they literally. I would rather watch Space Godzilla than that monstrosity with Jet Jaguar. Forget
Oh
Jet
God,
Jaguar.
no, not that one.
And he had a
Space
song. Don't you love the Jet Jaguar song? Jet
No.
Jaguar, Jet Jaguar. I don't know the rest of it. I just know that bit.
Thank the gods for that.
Just want to
What
rapid
if some
fire
of those-
these real quick. Opinions on Drifters. Unfortunately, I've not seen it, so I can't comment. Same thing with Vampire Knight. Have not seen it, but if it's anything like Twilight, it is probably hell.
It's worse than Twilight, trust me.
That's
Lovely.
the anime, right?
As an anime.
I read the first chapter of the Drifters manga and I was really interested in it and I meant to keep watching. And then I found out there was an anime from the same people who did Hellsing Ultimate. And I thought, hey, that would be a really neat style for what I've read so far. I still have yet to watch the rest of the anime, or even I still have yet to watch the anime, but what I've seen so far from the brief clips I've looked up look excellent. And I really look forward to giving it a try.
Terror of Death says it's a cousin to the Ultra series, and if you don't know what Ultra series is, I'm going to take your soul and send you all to hell. Well, I am going to keep my mouth shut then.
I'm terribly sorry, but I'm not really a religious person. So if there's a hell, I've got an express ticket already. I'm sorry, you may be wasting your time.
I already have my ticket, and Kyle knows why.
I've made a lot of very edgy religious jokes too, so there's a few that I'm not sure could be forgiven.
No, I have thoroughly earned my ticket to hell, and Kyle has heard the story. He knows why.
Who'd you kill?
No, it wasn't killing.
Oh, well, I guess you're not finished yet.
Oh no, mine was worse. Mine was sacrilegious.
Now I remember what you're talking about. Yes, and you are going to hell for that. It took me a second there, but yeah.
Are you guys looking forward to any renewal of TV shows this next year?
I don't follow
Not really
very many
much.
television series.
Yeah.
I probably should follow a few, but I don't know, I barely have time for all the movies I want to watch, or the games I want to play, or the stories I want to read, or the videos I want to edit. Oh boy.
Does anybody here, including the chat, do you guys like Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Because that's coming back, and I'm so excited.
I've seen clips for it, and it looks very amusing.
You've only seen clips of it, so that's like on top of Stranger Things, another thing you haven't seen.
We've been over this. You don't get to criticize me for not seeing things. You haven't seen Infinity War.
I will see it, but when I see Infinity War, does that mean you'll finish season 1 of Stranger Things?
No,
No, come on.
because I'm stubborn.
Uh-huh.
I want to finish it at some point, but
Yeah.
let's see. I forget who, but someone else also asked about the live-action Bleach that Netflix put out earlier this year.
Not interested.
No desire.
I watched it the weekend it came out.
There's a live action of Bleach? I had no idea.
It was made by the same guys who did the live-action FMA.
I'll be
Oh,
back, guys.
Very, very, very low. It was not as bad as FMA. It honestly, it wasn't bad in general. I have plenty of notes for it,
that's good.
but it was better than I expected.
Fair enough.
That might be worth talking about sometimes, just something that's not that bad, where there's an obvious draw for outrage, but at the same time, just a reasonable outlook on it might be nice. Just to say,
there are some things that the movie did right.
yeah. And, Might be fun sometime.
Yeah.
To take a look at that one.
Well, the best, it's a Japanese video game, so not exactly anime, but close to it. The movie for Phoenix Wright, I thought was pretty good.
Oh, I saw the old Suede video on that one from a long, long time ago. I'm not
Yeah,
sure how that video holds up. I've gone back and visited a lot of the old YouTubers I used to follow back then and just not had the same experience as I used to, but I remember his videos fondly.
yeah, I watched a few Suede videos. He was pleasant to watch. I had nothing. He was one of the few guys too that didn't resort to just screaming at the camera, swearing, which was what I appreciated.
A bad credit card!
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not gonna name any names, but like he was nice. Like he would criticize something without constantly screaming at the camera. So that was always welcome, a nice welcome change. The one anime remake I'm kind of looking forward to, as long as it's one of the few times where I will say I hope Japanese studios aren't in charge of this one because I just don't think they're that great at live action remakes. Is Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, that one's sacrilegious. They should.
Sacrilegious. I'm curious. I don't have like giant hopes for it, but I can see it working, translating well to live action if they have really good writers on it and it's good special effects and good actors. I think they can make it work. Obviously, the cartoon is still like untouchable, but I'm curious to see where they can go with it. So here's hoping. So
I'm going to call this covered by what I've come to call the Ghostbusters principle. As you may all recall, in 2016, there was an attempt to reboot the Ghostbusters franchise. It was very poorly received when it was announced, and the backlash grew hotter and hotter and hotter until the film came out. And the world did not end.
Yeah.
The movie was not good, but it didn't destroy the Ghostbusters name. When you say Ghostbusters now, unless you're talking about reboots and remakes and the like, if you just say Ghostbusters out of nowhere, people will think of the 1984 film before they think of the 2016 one.
I actually think the cartoon more.
Yeah, or even that. Or hell, even the video game is going to come to people's minds before the reboot.
Honestly, in the end, it's just another option for audiences. It's not a big
just
deal.
Another thing that's gonna happen. Worst case scenario, it's bad, but there is no chance for it to destroy something that is classic and beloved. If it could do that, then honestly, it can't have been that good in the first place.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. It's just like, I guess with remakes again, it's just so rare nowadays to get something truly original and not based off of an existing property. It would be nice for just Hollywood to take more chances, right? Because this is supposed to be a creative medium.
Quick, before I lose this, the Slafer has said that they want to see a Blade Runner anime. And I just want to give them some good news. I want you to look up the 18-minute short that was made in preparation for the Blade Runner sequel called Blackout. Blade Runner Blackout. It's really good. And you know what else? There actually is talk of doing an anime based on Blade Runner. Also, have you seen Ghost in the Shell? There's some parallels in the aesthetics. You might enjoy it.
Probably Blade Runner stole stuff from Ghost in the Shell. Which came first? I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you've got a craving for Blade Runner anime, not only is there something that will satisfy that exact craving, but there's something that'll scratch that itch a little bit more off to the side. Maybe has a little bit more satisfaction on its own, as its own product. So yeah. What do you mean that doesn't count? They just said that doesn't count.
What do you mean?
Go watch it, then tell me it doesn't count.
Yeah. But Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
Ghost in the Shell. Okay, yeah, I can gather that. But go watch the short at least.
Yeah, with remakes, they should really only remake things that were bad to begin with, so you can improve on it, right? I just don't understand
But the
remaking things that were so goddamn near perfect to begin with. Why do you want to play with it? Like, I kind of agree with Kyle's more purist type of thinking that some things should just be sacred and not touched. But at the same time, too, I recognize it's not the end of the world. Like this is like first world problems, right? So, but anyway.
It's brand recognition. They're not going to remake a movie that tanked and did horribly unless they completely change the name and try to pretend it's its own thing. Kind of like how, from what I suppose you could make an argument that Mandy has some connections to Manos in terms of the plot and premise, or there's a lot of different stories and films that have been subtly or slyly remade. But if you tried to actually do a remake of Manos and called it Manos: The Hands of Fate in modern day, no one's going to go see it. They're just going to assume it's trying to cash in on a cheap B movie from back in the 50s and 60s. Actually, wasn't that one made in the 80s? God, I don't even know anymore. I'm not paying attention. But if you say, hey, guess what? The Lion King. People are going to go see that. People are going to go see The Lion King in theaters. They're going to pay to see it.
I'll be shocked if that movie doesn't make $500 million.
Yeah.
It's going to make that easily. Probably on the opening weekend. It's going to do fantastically well.
So out of the 3 remakes, if we were betting money on this, we still think Lion King is going to trump both Dumbo and Aladdin, right?
Well, of course.
Easily. Yeah, because Aladdin, the same with way back in the 90s, Lion King was the one that broke everything, broke all the records.
It still amuses me to no end that The Lion King was the little side project that they would just push people onto when they didn't think they were good enough to do the prestige film of Pocahontas.
That was Pocahontas, yeah.
That was their big piece. This is going to be the one. This will be the one that'll make us famous.
More famous, yeah, exactly. Like they needed any more money at that point. But what came first? Pocahontas came after Lion King, right?
Well, they were both in production at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just that Pocahontas is
not
as popular.
Yeah, but it came after Lion King, I'm pretty sure. And
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it came after Lion King, and that was like known to be their first failed movie, and that was when, they said Disney started to lose its luster because Lion King was like a peak for them, and that's when there was no way else but down after the Lion King, I guess. And then of course they had like CGI to compete with because Toy Story just changed everything. Talking about Toy Story 4 is also coming out this season. Next year. So that will be interesting to see.
That one has me a little worried because it looks like the Toy Story story is wrapped up nicely. So I'm not sure where they can really go from here. But
yeah, I know. I'm so afraid that it might be the Toy Story version of
Cars 2.
No, not Cars 2. Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Because again, it's kind of mirroring it. They had 3 perfect movies. It was tied up perfectly in the end. And then, nope, let's make a 4th movie with CGI gophers because that was really needed. And
I can't believe you just called Temple of Doom a perfect movie.
You know what? It has its charm. It's the dark child of the triplets. What can you do? It has its charm, though.
The Terror of Death also says, speaking of Ghost in the Shell, did you guys hear that they're making the new Ghost in the Shell standalone complex anime? I didn't know they were making a remake at all.
I think it's. I'm not sure if it's a remake or a continuation of the old anime series. I've heard good things about the people involved. I think it's the original showrunner or whatever the official term for that is coming back. I heard also it's going to be done in CG animation, which gets an unfairly bad rap.
The whole thing? Like the whole thing is going to be CGI?
Well, yes. They've gotten really good at that in recent years.
Yeah, but
Berserk doesn't count.
I like anime because it's like one of the few things that are still animated by hand. I mean, I know they animate on tablets now, but it still has. It's the closest thing we have to the traditional animation. I don't
I
know.
want you to do me a favor. Look up Land of the Lustrous, and
Okay.
then tell me that CG can't be beautiful.
No, of course CG can be beautiful. I love
Well, or
CG.
rather, tell me that CG can't be exciting.
It can be exciting. I never said that. It's just like I like seeing 2D animation too, right? It balances things out.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not going to go away.
No, it's not going to go away. Okay, Land of the Lustrous is kind of a mix of both. It doesn't look like when I think CGI, I'm thinking like Pixar or like Paw Patrol. This still looks kind of 2D-ish.
Yeah, but those are American. Paw Patrol's an American product, so that doesn't count.
You're very much thinking about the style as opposed to the actual technology and
Okay.
animation.
Okay, but it's 2D, but it still looks 2D. But like when you say CGI, you mean the animations done through computer, right?
Well, through 3D models.
Oh, through 3D models. Okay, I see. But still, the end product is they look pretty flat to me, which is what I like in anime.
Look up a trailer or something and see it in motion.
Okay. They're remaking Fruits Basket. Did you guys ever watch that anime? Did anyone in that trailer in the chat watch Fruits Basket?
Saw the original back in college. I enjoyed it. Fun.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. It's one of the few love triangles that I actually like, because most love triangles is like you've got A, B, and C, and it's like it's clear everyone's rooting for A and B, and the show's clearly written to cater to them. So it's like, why is this triangle even here? No one cares. Fruits Basket is one of the few times where I'm not sure which pairing I prefer.
Ooh,
They both have
interesting.
very strong characters and a lot of good between both couple pairings.
Yeah. So in this remake, apparently, they are planning to finish the entire manga story. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of wary about that because I know a few things, a few more of the story arcs that happens in the manga. It gets really weird and even more soap opera-y, if you can even imagine that. I don't know if I have the. Sometimes that can be a little too much for me to stomach, but I'm glad they're finishing the whole story. I think that's great. It gives me more hope that they'll eventually continue some other unfinished animes like Oran High School Host Club. Did you have a favorite character in Fruits Basket, Kyle? I love the fact that you like Fruits Basket. I would not have thought that about you.
I was into all sorts of anime back in college.
Right.
The Kyo, I believe his name was.
Yeah, Kyo was great. The cat.
I sympathize with him, and I think I was leaning a little more towards Kyo and Toru as opposed to Yuki and Toru, but
yeah,
you're just like by that much.
by that much. I think I was always Team Kyo, but I didn't mind Yuki because he was such a likable character. In fact, if anything, even though I liked Kyo more, I actually related to Yuki more, surprisingly enough. I loved Shigure the dog.
Yeah, he was fun.
Yeah. Ash, have you ever heard of Fruits Basket? Do you know the premise?
I know very little about it.
Okay. So the premise is this girl, she ends up living with like kind of like the makeshift family of a classmate of hers, and she finds out this family's deep dark secret where 12 of its family members, if they accidentally hug someone of the opposite sex, they turn into one of the animals from the zodiac Chinese zodiac calendar.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they eventually turn back to normal, but yeah, so that's the thing they go by, and they get into a lot of hijinks and drama, and yeah, it's a really funny character show, but it's also very touching and tear jerking at the same time. So yeah.
Yeah, that
All
sounds
right,
like anime.
so where are we at?
Yeah.
We're talking anime.
I think we
Still
got
anime?
time. I think we got time for one more question. I'm going to have to shut this down before too long, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone in chat has anything they want to ask real quick, we might be able to answer that. Yeah, Land of the Lustrous, I'm going to have to check that out. I actually hadn't heard about it.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that one either. Thank you for the recommendation, Ash.
Indeed.
Sure thing.
I'll add it to the list. I can't say what the worst scene in a movie I've ever seen is, because it's part of what I'm doing, and if you've paid attention to the Facebook page at all, you'll know that I'm doing something for you guys. It's torture and agony for me, but it's a gift for you.
And at his pace, you'll appreciate the speed at which we come out with videos.
Hey, Kyle.
He's been watching the movie for like 2 weeks now.
Kyle. Go fuck yourself with a rusty chainsaw.
Man, as long as it took you to watch the movie, it's taken you longer to tell me what the movie is.
You already know what the movie is, you asshole. I told you earlier. I'm not telling any of them.
Pourquoi?
He wants to drag it out and make it more dramatic that way.
No,
fie
I'm just
upon
not. I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm just not giving them any hints. The only hint I've given them is I've mentioned it in the stream before. If they want to figure out which movie, they should go back to the old streams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know if I can't think of the worst, because I try to avoid bad movies so many times. Like most of the time, I can think of maybe some bad performances I didn't like. So,
I'll say the worst scene out of a movie that I've ever seen. I'm not sure if this counts because I haven't seen the whole movie. I've just seen this one scene, but it's a Turkish movie where this blonde woman shoots this guy for about 3 minutes, and the whole thing is done in slow motion, and it takes him 3 minutes to get shot probably 10 times and fall on a bed, and he's screaming dramatically the entire time. It's kind of a famous clip. You'll find it if you look for it, but
what is the movie called?
I have no idea. It's Turkish. That's all I know.
Okay.
But if you look for if you Google Turkish slow death scene or something like that, you'll find it.
Right. I did think of something, but it's an obvious answer. I think almost any scene from M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Yeah. Specifically, the scene that keeps popping up in my head is when it's the scene where Katara accidentally freezes Sokka, and you can tell that he's trying. The scene is supposed to make you laugh, but the way it's filmed and the timing and how it's edited, the gag just completely falls flat on its face. Yeah, God, that movie was such a mess.
Well, if we're going off of Last Airbender, then I've got to say the worst scene I've seen is, yes, Jessica Carter, I do feed off of your hatred and despair. It tastes like chicken. Anyway, the worst scene from Avatar: the Last Airbender to me was during that fucking fight with the Earthbenders in it, and it takes 6 of them to move a rock the size of a guy's head.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb.
In the fucking anime, one guy could sit there and throw fucking mountains.
Yeah.
King Boomy could throw a mountain.
My headphones appear to have died. Hang on.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
That scene is so idiotic. You have so much ability. Whoa, dear fuck, what was that?
Oh my God.
Okay, who's feedback?
I think it's
It's not mine.
Melissa Dow, GC Melissa is asking what kind of mage. Oh, sorry, Diane. This one's for you. I misread it. Melissa Dow is asking what kind of mage you are.
And it was for me and you as well.
Oh yeah, I don't know all the different mages. What are my options?
That is a question we can't answer. Not in public, at least.
Universe, it's kind of very open, but.
Oh, I don't know. A mage is like a person that does magic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
God, I don't know. I need to know my options in order to choose.
It's something we can work on offline.
Yeah, I guess so. Is there like a test I have to take? Is it kind of like the houses in Hogwarts?
Choose your favorite lamp. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
I still remember that joke from that one review you two did. One of the latest ones you two did. One of the last ones you two did as a pair. What kind of piece of furniture are you?
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good joke. But anyway,
Blaster Master. My Harry Potter house should be obvious.
Slytherin.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that question for everyone?
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
Gryffindor.
You're Gryffindor? Yeah, I can totally see you as Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I always thought of myself as a Hufflepuff. A friend of mine told me I was more Ravenclaw, which that would be the last house I thought I would be in. I don't think I'm smart enough to be in Ravenclaw, but so I guess that's something. But yeah, I think I'm mostly Hufflepuff, though a few times I've tested for Gryffindor quite a few times, which I don't see me as being. But yeah, I think mostly Hufflepuff with maybe a sliver of Gryffindor and maybe even a bit of Slytherin. But yeah, it's kind of a mixed answer. But I guess mostly Hufflepuff. Ash, you yourself?
I only just returned from a grand adventure in trying to get my headphones to work again because my Bluetooth headphones that I had on just died. Unfortunately, I couldn't get these ones to connect, so I've had to plug in the actual physical cable. So I am only slightly able to pick up on where we were. So Gryffindor houses. No, Hogwarts houses. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your Hogwarts house?
Oh, fuck if I know.
Where do you put yourself?
Probably at Ilvermoney, the American school for witchcraft and wizardry.
He's being a bitch and cheating.
At least he's staying American.
Yeah. With the Hogwarts houses, I don't know much about. I'm not as big of a Harry Potter fan as everybody else. That's only specifically for Hogwarts, right? It doesn't apply to every single magical school.
The other schools have their own houses, and I have no idea what the Ilvermoney houses are, so I can't really make a decision there.
I think Ash is Hufflepuff, just judging by your personality.
Oh, ouch.
No, Hufflepuff is good. What are you talking about?
Hufflepuff is for the rest.
Ouch! No, Hufflepuff is the new cool house now.
Hufflepuffs are particularly good finders.
No, yeah, and not to mention they made an entire new movie surrounding a Hufflepuff. What with
Technically, they made 2 entire new movies. But still.
yeah, 2 entire new movies. Sorry, what are those movies called now?
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, followed by Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Bad movie titles.
Yeah. And you know who would be a Hufflepuff? Captain America would be a Hufflepuff. Mr. Rogers is a Hufflepuff. Tell me, like, come on, seriously.
I like Skipper Newcomb's answer. My Harry Potter house is Mordor.
Okay.
So probably gonna have to cut it off there.
Okay, fair enough.
Get up in 3 hours now.
I finally come back, and then you shut the whole thing down.
Yeah, because you came back.
Oh, well, fuck you. We didn't shut down when you came back.
Well, that's because I have class.
Well,
anyway,
I'm classy enough not to keep that conversation going.
We're so very professional here.
Ashton,
So anyway,
I actually love you, I promise.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we will do this more in the next year. And yeah, thank you for watching the show, and supporting the channel. It's awesome.
Thanks for joining the madness, everyone. Thank you guys for an awesome year, and hope we keep seeing you in the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Happy New Year to everyone. Just be safe. Work hard, but also have fun, and yeah, just take care of yourself.
Don't get mad about movies because they're not worth getting mad about. Find something else to occupy your time and your life, like excitement or friends or, I don't know, playing a video game.
Play video games. Go play D&D. D&D is fun. You can get wild.
Yeah, you know
you
what?
can make friends playing D&D.
Read a book and go outside.
Anyway,
or you could go to the forums and complain about the new Lion King movie. Whatever you want, you know. Whatever floats your boat. Yeah, Disney killed Star Wars. Have fun with that.
Oh God! Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We love
everyone.
you guys. Have a good night. Have a happy New Year. Drive safe. Watch for idiots.
Chip, chip, cheerio. Tittle, pip, and all what?